Hello, sweet friends, and welcome. This is Gina, and today on the Read Book Read channel, I have a video where I have set up my November planner spread. And so this is in my journal that I have been using. I made this journal when I did Finding Your Style 2. I am almost at the end of this journal. There's only a few pages left that don't already have something on them. I had put October in this journal, and I really liked it because life is super, super busy right now, and I am struggling to find time to be creative and to find time to just document things or just mindlessly doodle. And so having the planner spread in my journal was nice because it kept it all in one place. So there was a spread that I had in this journal that I had just played around with some acrylic paint, some cheap acrylic paints, but I had used a bunch of blues, and I just filled the whole page with just daubs of paint. And so it's kind of been sitting there for a while, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I thought it would be the perfect background for my November spread. But the problem is that acrylic paint is it's plastic. It's acrylic, and so it's not very porous, and you have to find the right adhesive to adhere to it, to get it to stick. So you're going to see that this is a mess, and I have to figure out how to correct my mistake. So what I'm doing here is I'm just adding a moon, and I had put some ink on the page because I liked it kind of dark, and then I realized nothing is going to stick to it. So the first thing I did was I wiped off all the ink. Then I went and got a piece of sandpaper, and I realized that the only way I was going to get anything to stick to this paint was to sand it. I had to rough up the surface and give the glue, because I was going to have to use a wet glue, give the glue something to stick to. So as I go through this to correct my mistake of using that beautiful acrylic paint and then trying to adhere to it, I'm going to have to sand every surface before I stick something down. And I did this last week, and I put the journal away, so I need to go and check on its status and see if the stuff is still stuck there. It's not going to be super, super stuck. It will probably peel off easily just because that's the nature of acrylic, and some of the paint I used was glossy, which means that adds another layer of non-porousness, if that's a word. And so, yeah, I'm gonna, I don't know. We'll just have to see how this goes. If not, it was fun to create, and it was super cute, and we'll see what I can get to stick to it. So this first part that I'm doing here, the other day I went out. My husband was outside, and he said, hey, you need to come look at this moon. And I think it was the day after Halloween. And so I went out and looked, and I am not kidding. It looked just like what I'm representing on this paper. It was hanging low, and there were clouds around it, but you could still see the back, there was a difference in the color between the clouds and the sky, but it was super, super dark. And then it was just kind of hanging over a house in our neighborhood. And then there was some trees that had not lost all of their leaves. And it just looked super, super scary, super autumn-ish. And it was just really cool. So I wanted to document that. And I had been holding on to that image in my head for a few days, and so I was really needing to get that image down because I didn't want to forget the details. It was just so surreal. It was just a very, very cool display of the moon that night, and especially it being like the first or second day of November. That was just really awesome. So this is kind of what I've got going on this left-hand side, and I'm just using wrapping paper, scraps, and I pulled some trees from a book that I love to use, and then the moon was made from an end paper of one of my little gift books, my Hallmark gift books. And then on the right-hand side, you can actually see the page that I pulled from that gift book, and it has the image of the kids sitting around. It's not the campfire, it's the hayride. So it's a bunch of kids sitting on a hayride. And so I put that on the other side because I wanted to document that we went to my daughter's house and they had a campfire, and we just kind of sat around and visited and had fun and ate, and it was just a really fun, beautiful night. And so I thought I had an image in one of those gift books of kids sitting around a campfire, but I cannot find it. So I thought I'd use the next best thing, which was the image of the hayride, because it's kind of the same thing. It just brings back those good fall memories and just fun and hanging out and not having electronics or anything to entertain you. It's just you, your friends in the nighttime. And so, yeah, that was what I wanted to portray on this side. And because this was a page that I didn't cut down, I was able to use it as a flap. But I didn't really like the sentiment that was on the inside. So I'm going to have to cover that up, and I'm just pulling out some scrap paper from my drawer, and I found these 3 pieces that I must have used on another project, but they go perfect together, and the colors are perfect for November. So I played around with the paper. I ended up and decided to pull just like a journaling tag, and I'm going to adhere that. And I'm really not going to put any writing or anything on today. Today's session was just about setting up November and putting in places and spaces for me to journal and write and add things as the month goes along. So you're not going to see a lot of details. This is just a lot of me putting down papers and creating spaces for journaling later on. After I do film this, I remembered that I had gotten some new shoes, and so I took the stickers from the new shoes and I did add them over there on the right-hand side. So at the very end of the video, you'll see I show the finished product, and you'll see where I stuck those pictures. November is a month of birthdays. And so there's a lot of birthdays in my family in November. So I wanted to document that, 2 of the most important being my son and my husband. And so that's going to go on the left-hand side. And you'll notice that there is a piece of paper, and I actually moved it. There was a piece of paper that came from one of my old McCall's pattern catalogs. And it was just laying on my desk. It was an offcut of something that I had done previously, and it had a picture of a man. I was going to use that, and then I noticed that on the back side, it had a picture of a man and a little boy. So I used that because to me that represented my husband and my son. And then I just put it down there at the bottom of the page so that I have some space to write if I want to write about what we did on their birthdays. And this is some of my favorite wrapping paper that someone gifted me. And I'm just going to cut out the little happy birthday sentiments, and I'm going to put them down wherever there are birthdays in the month of November. And then pretty much it's set up, and now it's ready for me to hopefully have time to do some journaling. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you are healthy. I hope you are happy. I hope you do something creative today. And I would love to hear from you. If you want to put something down in the comments, tell me how you're doing. That would make me smile. Have a great rest of the day, guys. Bye.